went back home. So she wishes she could be here. She thanks all of you for coming out. She's already done one event when we did our office opening in Palmdale. I'm sure she'll do another one as well. Sorry she couldn't make it, but obviously because of that situation. Yeah, thank you. I want to get John started next. Okay, so John, this is your first campaign speech ever, right? When he came in, he said, "What am I supposed to say?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "But no pressure." Then right before he comes up, I put all the pressure. No, John is wonderful, as all of you know, host of the Damage Report, or the main host of the Young Turks, and just a wonderful progressive. Like all of you, he puts his heart into it, and that's why we're all here, because we actually mean it. As we talked about in volunteering, sometimes they hire paid staffers, so I call those mercenaries. Right? Or, because they got endorsements or whatever, they'll literally bus in people from outside the district, okay? And they'll be like, "Okay, you go support this person. Whether you agree with them or not, you have to canvas for them," right? But warriors beat mercenaries every time, okay? And we're all warriors because we actually believe it. And so John, through his incredible hard work through all these years, is one of the best warriors we've got. John Idarola.
Hey everybody, John Idarola. A little bit nervous. Thank you everybody for showing up, both, to engage in American democracy, but also to support another amazing progressive, Cenk, who will soon be the greatest fighter in American congressional history. I know that a lot of people just sort of take participation for granted, but I don't, partially because I am a hardcore introvert, and I never want to leave my house. And all of you have done that. That's a big bar to pass, honestly. And the thing is, if you don't show up, then you don't get change. And nothing good happens for us. Some people will be just fine. The status quo will continue, and that benefits some people. Some people running the race against Cenk will be just fine if everybody stays at home and if the person who raised the most money wins. But nothing good will happen for us. I've covered a number of elections. You've lived through tons of elections, and you've seen what happens when people don't show up. If we look back through the history of America, the story of America is that we have the numbers and they have the devious, insidious tactics to turn us against each other, to cause us to be apathetic. And if they win in that battle, then they win in all the battles. And you look back through our history and you find that the one talent that the rich and the powerful have is dividing us against each other and inspiring xenophobia and suspicion, hatred and fear. Some of the darkest moments in our histories, in our country's history, even before we were a country, as a result of that. They were dividing us before we were America. They baked into our Constitution division. And the few times that we have had a taste of a better America over the past few hundred years is when the people see past all of that bullshit and come out and fight together. Almost always, when that's happened, it's because we've had some people, some heroes that have stimulated that sort of activism. People getting engaged. And sometimes they pop up just for a moment. Sometimes, like in 2016, they thankfully stick around for a few years. And they make sure that people don't show up for one election and then go home. They stay engaged, okay? They start the process and they see it through to the end. And the sad thing for me is that the same sorts of divisive tactics that I can look back over American history and see, they're still here. They're in this race. The thing that's really pissed me off is, there was a day when Christy Smith woke up and she found out you're going to be running against this guy. She probably had to Google him. His name is Cenk Uygur. There was a lot of information when you go online about this guy. And she had the opportunity to do what I, as a still somewhat naive person, think every election should be about. Hold up her record against his. Say, this is what I've done with my life. This is what I want to do with my life. I think it's better than him. And she has not done that, not one time. She has tried to get you to hate that man, to fear that man. She's cherry-picked things from his history while hiding hers the entire time. I can't think of anything more craven and more disappointing that we have this democracy and some people want to be elected to defend it, to represent it, while not ever engaging in it. But he has never wanted to do that. For literally hour after hour of every day, going back almost 2 decades now, he has sat in front of a camera, he's taken his values, and he's tried to push the country in the right direction, to see those values made good for America, for the benefit of its people. That's what every election should be about. That's what this election should be about. The big issues that people actually care about, that affect their lives: Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, free public college, guaranteed right to housing. These are the things that we've been trying to fight for the entire time we've had a country, and we are perhaps closer now than ever before, thanks to the right sorts of politicians, like Cenk. And the thing that makes it even sadder still is, if you're gonna hide, if you're not gonna debate, if you're not gonna show up for events, if you're gonna use paid mercenaries to try to tear someone down, at least do it for something. What does she want to get to DC for? What agenda? What big ideas? What plans? Nothing. How many politicians have we seen through the course of our lives who want to show up as freshmen in Congress and then sit in a room and call people for money so that they win re-election? Sit in the back row and not make any waves so that they don't turn the party leadership against them? But we've had a taste, too, of what happens when politicians aren't satisfied to do that. You all remember before AOC was even sworn in, when she camped out in front of Nancy Pelosi's office with a bunch of young activists and she fundamentally changed our country? How'd you like to see more of that? Some people want to show up and they want to spend their first 2 years doing nothing so that they can win re-election, so that they can win re-election so they can run for Senate someday. That's not Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur is going to hit the halls of Congress like the Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. There is no one less qualified to sit and not speak in this country than Cenk Uygur. I know, I've tried to get a word in on a panel with him. It doesn't happen. Now think about, as great as he has been day after day, week after week, year after year on the Young Turks, advocating for his values, now imagine if he had that and a position of power to actually act on those values. How strong is that? And I can look forward to a future when Bernie Sanders has won the Democratic nomination, when he has won the presidency, but I want to make sure that when he gets into that Oval Office, he has the right sort of fighters in the legislature, because there's a lot of people waiting to sabotage him. They're looking at these polls and they're thinking, okay, this is looking pretty bad, but I think we can stymie him, I think we can slow things down. No, not if we have the right fighters working from the inside. That's not going to happen. Now, I will say that I am a little bit torn about this whole thing, because if he goes to Congress, I might actually die, because I got to fill in for him every day. But I'm willing to sacrifice myself if it gets our country to the place it needs to be, and I can't think of a better way to make that happen, a better ally for a President Sanders than Cenk Uygur. Thank you, everybody.
All right, John, that was awesome. Jeez.